People are going to be attracted to you for your difference. Your vibe attracts your tribe. How are you different? How do you stay ahead of the pack? People are going to buy into you, not just your message. I'm not for everybody. If you don't have haters, you ain't doing nothing. I'm doing what's authentic for me. You don't go to McDonald's because it reminds you of Popeyes. You go because of the difference. If you want to stay on the cutting edge, then you need to know what it is about you that makes you different from the next speaker. There's a law called the Law of Obsolescence. And the Law of Obsolescence says that everything you currently know is rapidly becoming obsolete. In the next 5 years, 80% of what you now know will be useless. It's kind of scary, isn't it? I learned this from being in a computer company that I formed many years ago. And some of you may remember the days of Windows 95, Windows 98, Windows XP. I sure hope you're not still using those operating systems. But I watched each year as Microsoft would come out with a new operating system and the previous one would be obsolete. And it didn't take long before one pushed out the other. And so in the world we're in today, especially the technology world, everything is rapidly changing, that you have to stay on the cutting edge or you'll become obsolete. If you don't update your skill sets, if you don't upgrade, man, a computer will replace you. A machine will replace you. I like when I go into stores that have self-checkout because now I can check myself out. But what I always think about is somebody used to have that job. That machine took that person's job. So everything you now know, you have to continue to upgrade your skills, your knowledge, and who you are in order to stay on the cutting edge. And I'm going to talk specifically to speakers right now. If you're a speaker, a trainer, an author, a coach, an infopreneur, then how do you stay on top? How do you stay ahead of the pack? How do you make sure that your voice doesn't become obsolete? Well, I'm going to give you 5 things right now. And I actually didn't create this, but my way of teaching it is different from anybody else's that I've heard. So 5 ways to stay on the cutting edge. The first one is, are you relevant? Are you relevant? And the question is, how are you staying relevant? How are you making sure that what you're doing is relevant to the world we live in right now and to people that would want to do business with you? And as long as you're relevant, people will continue to consume your information. For instance, this video, if you're still listening, must be relevant to you because maybe you're concerned with, do I need to upgrade my skill set? Can I afford to just coast and hope that everything works out? And you cannot. You have to upgrade your skills. You're going to have to do things that you don't even want to do. For instance, videos. There was a time I did not like doing videos. I enjoy doing them now, but I was very uncomfortable doing videos because I love a live audience. I love people in front of me, man. I miss that right now. I want to ask questions to the audience and I want to look out there, but right now it's me and this camera. But in order for me to stay relevant, because technology is what's driving learning today, people's preferred way of learning is video. Video is king in the marketing world. So if you want to play in this arena, you're going to have to do videos, like it or not. Now, if it's not video, it could be audio or it could be written, but you have to figure out, how am I going to communicate? Video happens to be king because it's the hardest one. It's the one that makes people the most uncomfortable. But in order to stay relevant, if that's what it takes, then I'm going to do videos. And people are now telling me my videos are changing their lives. And if you like our videos, please share them. Don't just like them. Don't just leave a comment and say, that was amazing. If you saw an amazing movie, is that what you do? If you go to an amazing restaurant, is that what you do? I'm going to not tell anybody about this. I'm not going to share this with anybody. So share the videos. It would help me to get my message out there and also to unlock the entrepreneurial spirit in other people. So being relevant. how can you stay relevant? Well, you got to look at the world and see what's going on in the world, and how can I speak into that environment? What do I have? Who am I? And what have I got to say? And man, it doesn't have to be on business or money or any of that. Man, you can be relevant talking about pets. You can be relevant talking about hair, talking about clothes. Man, some of the videos on YouTube that have the most hits are completely irrelevant to me. I don't even know how they got 1 million hits. It's just not relevant to me, but it's relevant to somebody. So what you need to do is look at, what is it that I love to talk about? I guarantee you somebody wants to hear it and somebody's waiting for you to bring it. The second thing is, you can't really read that, but are you current? Are you current? So we were just talking about how if you're not current, you become obsolete. Are you keeping up with the pace of what's important in the world right now? I don't watch news. I hate news because they front load it with all that negativity. But every once in a while, I will look at the feed that comes through my computer so I can stay aware of what's going on in the world, so I know what's important, so I can speak into it. So you need to be current if you want people to listen to you. If it's something going on in the world that fits the things that I'm comfortable talking about, now I can be current and I can talk about it. For instance, there's a big thing about college right now. The lid has been taken off. So many people understand that college is almost a big scam. I said almost, but in my opinion, it's a big scam because so many students go into debt and they go into $80,000, $100,000 in debt, and then they have to spend the next 20 years trying to pay that off. Whereas if you just put that money into, say, a particular skill, not general knowledge, but a particular skill set, then that would be a better use of $100,000 than putting it into general knowledge in college with books that are obsolete. Don't get me going down that road. So one of the ways that I can stay current when I'm talking about those things is that I've never been to college before. I graduated from high school and barely did that. So when I talk about how college is not necessary to your success, I'm not saying that it's not necessary for some, but it's a 50-year-old idea. So the way that I stay current and the way I stay relevant is to talk about it for all of you that right now you're looking at whether or not I should go to college. Should I start a business? Should I just get a job? And you should do what's right for you. But don't let people pressure you into thinking that you will never be successful unless you have that college degree. It is not true. Most of the greatest entrepreneurs on the planet, they dropped out of college and they followed their passion. I'm not telling you to do that, but what I am saying is don't believe the hype, because that system is geared to push everybody that way because it's a business. End of story. So how can you stay current? The next thing is, this one is tough. Are you credible? Are you credible? So as a speaker, and this message is for speakers and all that do what I do as infopreneurs, is that you want to be credible. So when you talk, you want your life to back up your message. If your life does not back up everything you say, then your words are meaningless and you won't have that mojo to stand up and talk about whatever it is that you want to talk about. One of the reasons I'm confident is I don't talk about things that I'm not confident talking about or that I don't personally live. So I talk about entrepreneurship because I breathe it. I live it day in and day out and have for the last 35, 40 years. So when I stand up and talk about that, I'm confident about it. But I'm not going to sit up and talk about how to raise successful children. I have 2 of them. I don't have a clue. I'm doing my best like every parent. That's an on-the-job training for parents. I don't know of any experts in that. I think you do the best you can. So I try to stay in my lane, and I think that that's important. I need some water. Getting myself all fired up right now. So are you credible? You don't bring the message. You are the message, and your life has to back up what you say. So if you want to stay on the cutting edge, then you want to be credible in your industry, in your field. And the way that you build credibility is that you study and know that subject inside and out. Now, here's the beautiful thing about being a speaker though. You are already a guru to somebody. There's people that's just getting started at doing something that you already know how to do and been doing for 10 years. You already are credible. And there's like lots of ways to build credibility, which I won't have to be able to go into on this video. But what I will say is that at least do things like have a landing page that tells people who you are and what you do. Maybe you can do a video that expresses and showcases your credibility. Of course, make yourself look professional in all of what you do as an entrepreneur or infopreneur. You want to have business cards. You want to have packaging, nice packaging. Things like this actually increase credibility for you. So that's another whole lesson. The next thing is what results have you gotten for people? What results? And see, this is a big one, because if you want to stay on the cutting edge, then whatever it is you're doing that you say you do for people, the real question is, what results are you really getting for people? Not what results you get for yourself. What results are you getting for others? I've helped so many speakers who could not get up in public and speak to overcome their fears and issues around public speaking. And now they're doing their own seminars, their own workshops, their coaches, their mentors. They're doing their own masterminds. I've helped people to do it. I've also helped people that had never earned $1, that had never made their first program. I've helped them to become authors. I've helped them to make money. I'm talking to the tune of thousands and some 100,000 and some even 1 million or more. Everybody doesn't get there. I'm not going to say that I've helped millions to make millions, but I've helped some. And so, what results are you getting for people? That's one of the ways to stay on the cutting edge. I have to get ready to wrap this up because I got a class coming in. Number 5, how are you? This is not even writing anymore. How are you? Hopefully you can't see that because I spelled it wrong. How are you different? How are you different? If you want to stay on the cutting edge, then you need to know what it is about you that makes you different from the next speaker, from the next author, from the next coach. Everybody's a life coach. Everybody's a speaker. Everybody's an author. But what makes you different? Because people are going to be attracted to you for your difference. Your vibe attracts your tribe. People are going to buy into you, not just your message. And so one of the things that people love about me and Circle of Champions, and look, there's people that can't stand me. I'm okay with that too. I'm not for everybody. But I'm doing what's authentic for me. My authenticity is spiritually based. God gave me a vision. I followed it. I'm still doing it. And when I do this, it's natural. I don't have to fake it. I don't have to act. How am I different? I'm different because I can combine the spiritual and the natural together and cause people to not just to get the scriptures on business, but to bring the street smarts to their business. And so now you can operate in that biblical law and you can operate in street smarts business. You better learn some things about branding, about marketing, things that you won't necessarily see in scripture. So that's one of my differences. You know, one thing I know, and I've learned this, and this is going to be heavy for somebody, that all the marketing in the world, I could put my best marketing efforts forth, and spiritual law means if I don't have some favor working for me, if I don't have God working for me, I don't care how pretty my stuff is. I'm operating in the law of reciprocity. I give first. I constantly put out value, but I'm also operating in spiritual law. I'm doing it out of the right motive. So bringing the spiritual and the practical together is one of the things that I do that makes me different. And people tell me they love it. They love it, that swag. Don't get me preaching. I might start using some scriptures in just a minute. So anyway, how are you different? You need to know how it is you're different because people will appreciate your difference. You don't go to Wendy's because it reminds you of KFC. You don't go to McDonald's because it reminds you of Popeyes. You go because of the difference. So this is kind of how you stay on the cutting edge. These 5 things, I hope that you've enjoyed it. If you like this video, share it with some other infopreneurs. If you like what you're hearing, you should come to one of our live events. If you've never been to one of our live events, you're missing out on some great teaching. So this is Bob Yates. Stay relevant, stay current, stay credible, get results for people, and discover your difference. And if you do that, then you'll be authentic and you'll be in demand and people will listen to your voice. I look forward to seeing you on the next video.